A very warm welcome back this afternoon to sunny Gibraltar for the Inspire Sport Netball Europe Under-17 Challenge event here at the Centenary Centre on International Women's Day. We have already seen 2 great games of netball this morning, with 2 more this afternoon, all being streamed live. 5 competing nations this weekend: host Gibraltar, Republic of Ireland, Switzerland, Malta and Isle of Man. 10 games in 3 days, brought to you live from the Rock, and by Sunday only 1 winner. There is a lot at stake here this weekend, with the team who emerges the overall winner being promoted to the Netball Europe Under-17 Championship section next March. So don't miss a minute of the action here this afternoon. I'm Lynn Carpenter, and I'm delighted to be joined for this game by Emma Wall, coach of the Republic of Ireland side. Welcome, Emma.
Thank you, Lynn. Looking forward to it.
So we've already seen host Gibraltar take the first game against Malta this morning, 42-15. Followed by Switzerland, unfortunately for you, defeating Ireland by 48-35, but both really good competitive games.
Yeah, really good. A great start for the host nation as well. They'll be confident now for the rest of the weekend, and a great start for Switzerland as well. But we're really happy with our performance. A 13-goal deficit for us against a quality side like Switzerland is nothing to. We were happy to take that home, and we know where we can grow and learn from that. Yeah.
And as you can see, there is the Isle of Man versus Malta game due to start shortly here, 4:30 local time, followed by hosts taking on Switzerland at 6:30. Now that's going to be another good game as well.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see that one. I think that'll be a goal for goal, everyone contesting every ball. What they're going to do with the turnover, I think, is going to decide the winner in that Gibraltar-Switzerland game, so that should be really interesting. And I'm sure the Gibraltar crowd will be out in force at 6:30 tonight, hopefully, as well.
And if you're enjoying the netball, don't forget, get in touch with us. Use our hashtag NEUnder17 challenge, and Emma and I would love to read out your quotes, your tweets, whether you're enjoying the game, and just telling us your overall views. So we'll be introducing you to the starting 7 for both these teams shortly. How do you think this game could go, Emma?
I think Malta have a point to prove now. They've had a tough game this morning, but they'll be in game mode already. I think your first game at an international competition like this is always the toughest. So they're coming out for the second game of the day. Yeah, tired legs, you might say, but they've had a good rest. So they're going to be game ready. And so I don't know if they might, in the first 5 minutes, that might stand to them a bit more. And I think Isle of Man, they'll be looking to build on last year being the first time they were involved in the region. Great to have them back again this year. So it'll just be, I think the first quarter is really going to set the tone for the game. But then you have to see who's going to perform over 4 quarters, of course.
And of course, we held this competition last year, not that long ago, actually. And in this game, Isle of Man took that 48-19 against Malta, but of course at this age group there is a huge turnover of young players, 15, 16-year-olds going into 17, too old for this competition, so never quite sure what's coming through the performance pathway.
Year on year you just have to take the squad and the team that's there in front of you. You know, I think the previous teams, there's so much change at this level, is exactly right. I think we're lining up to come on now.
Yeah, so we will shortly be introducing you to the starting 7 for both teams. So first of all, let me bring you the 7 for Isle of Man this afternoon. In at goal shooter is Webster, goal attack Cook, Williams in at wing attack. At centre, their captain Jacqueline Charter. At wing defence, Pitsy, Neen at goal defence, and Shepherd in at goalkeeper. And the coach for Isle of Man is Emma Williams. And now let's welcome the team from Malta back on the court this afternoon. Goal shooter De Bono, Helia in at goal attack, wing attack Gaty, centre Mikolev, Vela in at wing defence, goal defence Muscat, and the goalkeeper is Camelia. So interestingly, Malta have started almost with the combination that they finished the game against Gibraltar this morning at.
And I think you often see that with coaches. If you've got a good quarter, you want to reward those players with that performance and let them know to build on that. You know, I think if they played well in those last 15 minutes of that quarter, it's perfectly normal and reasonable for them to be given at their starting position here.
So the umpires for this afternoon are Lynette Waugh and Kate Howell, and the reserve umpire Anna Hernandez. So here we go. First quarter on game 3.
Already a turnover there. Well, a tip from the Malta goal defence, Muscat.
So Muscat, the captain again this afternoon for Malta, had a good game against Gibraltar this morning.
And you'd be looking for her to be a leader in that defensive position and to rally her girls to keep going down there.
So Cook with a long shot, didn't quite get it in. Lots of pressure on these young players. First centre pass, first attempt at goal.
Definitely, and I think, you know, they'll have had their pre-match game. They'll have been talking about their unit goals. You know, what is it they're looking to achieve, and I think at this level it comes down to small margins and turnovers and things like that, and the players will want to perform and will have that in the back of their head. Of course they will.
So we've already had our first message in. Sinead Keane supporting Isle of Man. You're really welcome to be with us this afternoon. We hope you enjoyed the game and in fact join us for all the matches over the weekend. So both teams taking a few minutes really to settle their early nerves.
You can see that, a lot of unforced errors, a lot of turnover through mid-court. We're just looking really for the first team to look after the ball, as I would say, from the sideline, and to convert and get to goal. Nice take from the...
Great interception there by Shepherd, goalkeeper for Isle of Man. Nice quick transition down the court.
Nice swing across the top of the D. Just opened up the goal attack there. Swing it in. It's definitely nerves at this stage of the game, isn't it, Lynn? They just need to settle in.
Yeah, there's quite a few ball handling errors in there, not quite getting hold of it. A couple of missed shots.
Yeah, it's also great to, you know, it's ball handling errors, but it's also no ball is uncontested for these girls at this level, and that's a whole step up in the international game, that all of a sudden you have to be, every pass needs to be out in front, like given in perfectly.
And I think it's easy to forget. Good strong rebound there by Keane for Isle of Man. Forget that most of these member countries don't have the performance pathways. Some of the more developed countries do. You know, the pathway that England has in particular, and Scotland, Northern Ireland and Wales are following in those and developing their own, really adds something, that regular competition. The players at this level particularly, and I think Ireland is probably the same, Emma, don't get that exposure on a regular basis.
Without doubt, and one of the things I often have is, how can you replicate that in a training session? How can I prepare a squad of 12 for the toughest matches they're going to play at this age level when you don't have the competition and opposition within your region? I mean, this for us and the growth of the developing nations is brilliant. To have this challenge section and to have competition where we can compete in is exactly what we need to grow and to build the pathways up to our open squad.
It's better by Isle of Man.
They're definitely having more nice conversion there. Isle of Man are definitely having more opportunities down in their shooting end. It's just being clinical with the ball to get it to conversion and get it to post.
So Isle of Man taking a slight lead this very early stage in this game, 2-0. 3.5 minutes before we saw the first goal then.
And that's definitely nerves at this level. A first game for Isle of Man as well of their weekend. There's always that settling in period.
And a shout out for Katie Howe, who is one of our umpires today from Netball Scotland. She'll be really pleased the support she's getting from back home.
Unlucky there for Isle of Man. They had a fantastic second stage defence intercept from their captain, and lucky not to bring that down to convert it.
So Muscat with the ball from Malta. Picked up again by Isle of Man. Probably the passages of play are going more in Isle of Man's favour. They're getting settled down a little bit quicker.
Yeah, and I think they're just using the space on the court a bit better. They're sending the ball wide to create better options. That's certainly working for them.
So 4-0 Isle of Man lead in the first 5 minutes of this game. Great feed by Jacqueline Charter, the captain for Isle of Man. Lovely rebound as well by Webster. For some of these players, they'll have never played at this level, and just those first few minutes to settle down.
Without doubt. Even being umpired at this level, I think, as well, can often be the first thing to get ready to, and never mind the sense of pomp and ceremony that comes with it as well. Webster converting the rebound.
So Isle of Man centre. Malta yet to get on the scoreboard this quarter.
I think for Malta, they really just need to focus on their passes a bit more. I'd like to see them have some more options through mid-court to just be able to get the ball to circle edge. Isle of Man are certainly putting them under a lot of pressure, and they're getting the payoff from that.
So can Malta swing the ball, create some space? Great pressure there by Isle of Man defence. Well picked up by De Bono. Kilia. You were saying to me before, if players can get their hand to the ball, they can catch it.
Yeah, we talked about that before. And I think that was definitely one she could have picked up.
Sometimes players underestimate their own ability and skill. So great to see Malta
on the scoreboard.
Off and running, 7-1. Lovely passage
feed.
of play.
Yeah, great feed from their captain, Jacqueline Charter. You can really see her dictating the play through the court. She's got a lot of experience. She was played last year. You can see her communicating with members in each of the units, trying to support what's going on through the court, which is what you want from your captain. Her communication is excellent.
So good interception there. You can see what she wanted to do.
Yeah.
But she kind of overcooked it a little bit, Williams, there. Playing with one option only in front of them at the moment, Malta.
Yeah, and always looking for a long ball. I'm not seeing too many people making a front option drive, which I think I'd be saying at quarter time you'd like to see more of that, so you can get the ball down to give your shooters more supply.
So nice dead ball situation managed by goal shooter from Malta. Again,
good rebound from
Shepherd in there,
yeah.
Very strong.
Good clean take.
Looking for that cutback. Communication didn't quite work between Cook and Webster on that occasion.
And the options are there on the top of the circle. She needs to just look wide and see how she can manage to get that ball in a bit better.
There we go, captain again, Jacqueline Charter.
She's had a great start already.
There's evidence there of her taking that leadership role, just pausing, looking, waiting, two options, but then the third one which emerged was the better one.
Yeah, and that comes with experience in playing, doesn't it? She's been here before, so she knows.
So 9-1, Isle of Man. Will they make it double figures? Not at this moment.
Umpire's called, I think, shooter contact. Oh no, back line, sorry.
Came off the shooter, I think, there.
Yeah.
Mikolev. Lovely weighted pass there.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's not the bullets, it's the weight of the ball that really matters.
And I think that's the mark of a good centre wing attack, to know which one to give and when. Sometimes you need to give it and give it fast, and other times it's those lovely floaty ones that just land right.
Kilia's going to have a go. Decided to pop it in. Oof, unlucky.
Shepherd with the rebound again. For me, Isle of Man are just having, there's no through court defence. It's from Shepherd making their intercept down to their shooting circle. It's largely uncontested, and I'd love to see Malta just put some pressure on those passes. I think it would slow it down for them, maybe force Isle of Man wide. At this level, you have to contest everything.
Speed of the ball now, really running Isle of Man's way.
Yeah, that was lovely from Cook there. Lovely front cut with a split land. Got her in a position right under the post, which is what you want.
So 12-1, Isle of Man lead. 4 minutes left now in this first quarter. We will get the score updated for you. It is 12-1. As viewers watching at the moment will be aware.
There we go, we're back in. Let's see what Kilia can do. Lovely
Great shot.
I was watching her in her warm-up, and she had some lovely long-range shots there, so I'm not surprised to see her take that with confidence, it'll be good for Malta to build on that if they're going to get the ball out wide. It's good to have a shooter who's willing to take those shots.
I think in a game of this nature where the opportunities aren't coming fast and furious, every time they get in the circle, they're going to need to put it up and at least have a shooting opportunity. So here we go.
Oh, nice little offload to their shooter, De Bono from Kilia. That's excellent.
So Malta playing a little bit more consistently. 13-3. Can they get the interception? She's using the baseline and her split landing really well.
Really well.
Cook at goal attack for the Isle of Man.
It's just that little pop out at that, on that second, and she leaves her foot right under the post, which is so difficult for the defenders to work.
Good choice of play between the two shooters.
Nice little roll in.
They all count?
Yeah, that's it.
So hopefully you're all tuning in, watching at home and enjoying this. Send us a message. We'd love to hear from you. Hashtag any under-17 challenge. Rare miss there. Well fought by Muscat, Malta goal defence and captain. Again, it's that kind of asking for the ball over the top, isn't it?
Yeah. And it's just not a style of play that's going to reward you, I think, with tough defence and with tall mid-court players coming out. But in that case, they got it under the post, and De Bono pops it in for them. This is a good comeback for Malta at this stage in the game.
So 14-5 at the moment. We've got just over a minute left now until quarter time. Plenty of time for a number of goals. Nice front cut.
The shooter stepped in there, so the goalkeeper held her space.
Really good defence. Lovely.
It was a nice passage of play from Malta. They were quite patient there and used their options.
So the gap now is down to 8.
And they've taken an intercept
really
in mid-court.
Dominating these few last minutes. They'll be pleased with this.
Definitely.
Oh, unfortunate footwork.
From Kilia.
And it's only when you play games like this under that kind of pressure that
those little errors, fine
really
margins,
count.
Definitely. even the discipline there in mid-court to keep your landing foot on the ground, because your options aren't coming so quickly at this level. You need to stay balanced and stay grounded. We spoke about that today in our quarter time. The pass needs to be on. If you're going to do a running pass, you can't lift your foot with no option in front of you. Oh, unlucky from Bono.
Just outside the circle there. Clock running down. So really good start here to this game between Isle of Man and Malta, with Isle of Man leading 14-6 these early stages. Good comeback there from Malta in the last few minutes.
Definitely, they settled into the game as the quarter went on. I think those last 5 minutes they started to see much better passage of play, much more possession, and then obviously with that some supply to their shooters, and their shooters have converted those for them, which is what you're looking for. I'll be interested to see how they'll both start this next quarter, to see how they can both take from that, if Malta can build from it, or if Isle of Man will use the break to push off and drive on their lead.
Malta really ran the changes in the last game, but with the gap developing that it did, it's probably not a surprise. Where they are now is in a much more competitive place than their first game, so coaching might be tempted to just let them settle and see how they get on in the next quarter.
And I think so. I think that's what I would look to do. You want to reward the players when they're doing well, and we talk about this a lot. It's 7 bibs, but it's a squad of 12. So the 7 girls who are out there for Malta at this stage are performing well in that last quarter. So I'm not sure. Also, it depends what's on your bench and what you can bring to that. So it'll be interesting to see what Malta do here. I think Isle of Man will probably look at rewarding their players as well, because actually this is a really good first quarter for them, to be up by 8 in the first 15 minutes of your first game, unless they've other options they want to look at. But I think you probably want to build on your lead before you bring in new options, new players.
As you see,
that's a supportive bench. I did say 7 bibs, 12 in a squad. This is a very supportive bench.
That's right. It is quite warm outside here in Gibraltar today. So whilst in here there's a beautiful facility, and as you can see if you're watching at home, the Gibraltar Netball Association have given us a clean court, which at this level is an amazing opportunity for the players.
Amazing.
Getting lots of tweets now, so great to have you with us. Ruth Cool, I'm sorry if I spelled your name wrong. Physio from the Isle of Man. Hope you're enjoying the game. John Turner's joined us as well. Not quite sure who you're supporting, John. Maybe you just love netball like we do.
Yes,
just
all things netball.
All netball.
And it's so amazing for people at home to be able to watch this level of coverage at this level of the game. It's just, I know the support at home in Ireland this morning, we had one of our teammates and their whole school had an assembly to watch her play, where we haven't, we can't do that without this level of coverage. It's fantastic.
So we really work hard, and Netball Europe works hard to try and bring this product to everybody. There is a huge commitment to make it work. It doesn't just happen. We need to raise sponsorship. We need to look at that. One of the questions Netball Europe asked on their Twitter feed last week was around the strength of the live streaming against paying for it. This is paid to, free to view at the moment. I think Netball Europe is looking at every opportunity to bring netball at every level, at every game. And I think Netball Europe, I looked at the other day, puts out 50 international games a year at the different age levels, which is a huge amount of netball.
That's huge, yeah. And the level of support, not everyone can travel to see those games, but there's everybody sitting at home and, on TV screens, laptops, cheering all of these girls on. They've invested so much in getting them to this level. Of course, they want to see how they perform over the weekend.
So, Emma, your call as a coach in terms of what the two benches might do was spot on. There are no changes in subs. So
yeah, and I'm not surprised to see that at this stage.
So Malta with the first centre pass. Jacqueline Charter making herself
She's
a
very
nuisance
dominant
in the middle there.
in mid-court, isn't she? She really is a key player for this Isle of Man squad. She's dominant in dictating the play. She's available for passes. She's making intercepts. You can see why she's their captain.
She's got a very good reach and hands over the ball there, making it difficult for
and actually a
players to
tall
see.
mid-quarter as well, you know.
So arms up just slightly before distance on that one.
Oh,
unlucky. Just didn't quite fall for her.
And it's those unforced errors that just are going to you know, at this level, that will dictate the game. If Isle of Man convert this, it's something you'd like to avoid in your team.
That's a great feed into Webster under the post. 15-6. When you do your sort of post-match recovery and watch the videos and the players see themselves, probably some of them have seen themselves for the first time playing, that's a kind of an interesting reaction itself. But then looking at unforced errors, dealing with how the players might feel seeing themselves making mistakes, and how do you keep them positive as coaches?
Well, I think we have to see mistakes as something that you have to learn from. No player arrives perfect, do you know, so
and no player becomes perfect.
Exactly. So to expect, now we joke in our squad about the perfection gene, you know, because some of the girls are just not happy if I have to get every intercept and do whatever. And of course you want that attitude as a coach, but you can't then punish yourself if you don't get it. So it's managing that and managing the expectations. And I think things like unit goals before a game can really help, because it's a team sport. It's not one player winning a match. It has to be all 7 players plus your bench working together.
So that's a really good interception. Cook almost saw that they'd gone off the minute she let go of it and was around to pick up the interception. And there was, you know, one of the Malta opportunities there from defensive would have been just to block the shooter where she was.
Well, yeah. And it's just experience at doing that, isn't it? Nice half roll from her goal shooter there from Webster, but actually Cook was the better option. She was the front option, which was a good feed in.
A strong take by Malta. They're tempted to go aerial all the time, aren't they? Put the ball up there with some height on it.
Yeah, and for me that leaves the ball in the air too long, which means your defender has more time then to get her feet going and get in and make that intercept. But I think if no one's making a front, that's a lovely take, but if no one's making a front run for the Malta team, your option is held ball or put it high. Good pressure from the Isle of Man defence there. They're trying to force Malta wide with the ball.
So throw into Isle of Man. 17-6 here. 4 minutes gone in this quarter. Unlucky.
Webster's having great success with her defensive rebounds. She's come out with the ball a lot underneath that Malta shooting post. Oh, just offside by Williams in wing attack.
So I think the second one now from Williams just needs to perhaps adjust her feet a bit quicker on that edge, or learn technique that some players have, which put the ball down to balance themselves.
Yeah.
And I think at this level, maybe they haven't quite got to.
And that's
that
something
level
you
of
have
ability.
to practice in training.
Of course it is.
You know, we teach the girls, if you're going over, now, you know, we push the ball high, so they are going over, so it becomes instinctual. Isle of Man just not finding the form they had in the first quarter yet.
Just lost that flow and that transition speed they had.
Yeah, and that's a credit to the Maltese defence. They've, whatever it was said at quarter time, to slow down that, they're putting some pressure on.
So Isle of Man taking a 12-goal lead now, Malta 6. Their centre pass.
And Malta are yet to score in this quarter, so they really need to look after this.
I think it was nearly 4 minutes in the first quarter before they scored, and being closed down quite successfully by both Keane and Shepherd there at the back, and Pitsy putting pressure on. down the court.
There's that flow that we said Isle of Man weren't showing. They must have heard us in there. I'd be interested to see both shooting ends in terms of accuracy, because there's been a lot of end-to-end play, but actually the score isn't really reflecting that.
Yeah, it feels like there's been more opportunities, and then you look at the scoreboard, and we're less than 10 minutes now in this quarter, 18-6.
Nice defensive play by the Isle of Man goal shooter. She got a touch to it.
So I think there's been 4 goals scored this quarter so far, which is very low.
It is, isn't it? And the ball has gone. Both shooting units have had supply. It's just the conversion hasn't.
That can be quite disheartening for other players on the court when you're working hard, you're giving opportunities, but you're just not getting the rewards as.
Yeah. And as an ex-mid-quarter, it can be exhausting. You've got to carry the ball through the court and defend it, go back and carry it.
Well, she has her movement there as a shooter to get the follow-up on the rebound, despite the height difference.
Yeah.
Her timing is really effective.
Yeah.
19 plays 7 now.
She really contests that rebound, which is great.
Still want to pop the ball up when perhaps there are other options on the court for Malta.
Yeah. And even looking there's no one giving the ball carrier an option. We talk about 3 options or wide options, but actually for Malta, we don't see anyone moving and driving onto the ball, which can lead to frustration or passing errors.
So they just need to settle a little bit now, play it around, use their strength. That was better.
Nice, yeah. Keely's got a good shot. Oh, unlucky. Webster again with the rebound. She's doing great in there with her defensive rebounds. Oh, sorry, Shepherd. Webster's the goal shooter. She's doing great with the rebound. She's got great positioning, and it's really paying off for her.
And the options, 2 front cuts. And there we go. 27 Isle of Man lead Malta. Just under 7 minutes left here until half time. Well held. Achillia. Sorry, by Cook.
Yeah, she's having a good game, Cook. She's probably carried more of the shots in this quarter and is often the front option, which is what you want.
Can Malta pull one back? Fortunately, they can't.
Shepherd with the rebound again. Unusual enforced error there from Jacqueline Chata. So good there from the goal defence. She did hold her distance. There's no obstruction, but you're still not allowed to put your hand on the ball. So actually a little more discipline on that could have put more pressure on that shot.
Picked up just a little bit too much.
I don't know if Williams was expecting that. She didn't look all ready as it came to her. I feel both teams at this stage need an injection of energy and concentration here to be a bit more clinical with the ball, to take it to goal. Again, that aerial ball.
So dead ball now, defender in the circle third. Where's it going to go? I think that was a misunderstanding between their two players.
Yeah.
The goal defence definitely looking for someone. I'm sure you say to your players all the time, don't take your eye off the ball.
Yeah, never. Actually, I heard one of my own players say it to one of the other players today, and I thought, okay, I've said that too often at this point.
It's a very low scoring quarter, this one so far. Can Kilia make...
That was a strong hold by her on the baseline, and to not go off the back line was great, and to see her rewarded then with the goal is just what Malta need at this stage, and it's their centre pass, so that was a good turnover.
21 plays 9.
Kilia again.
Not wanting to put that one up.
But actually to turn and go to post and to look towards the post engages your defender.
Absolutely.
So actually it was much cleaner for her to offload that wide and then to go again for that goal.
So 21 plays 10. 7-4 to Isle of Man in this quarter, so much stronger by Malta, definitely. Stronger defensively, stopping their attacks on goal, their options.
Definitely, and it's their defensive unit that are giving more supply then to their shooters. It's great. It's still a low scoring quarter, 7-4, and as we've been saying, the ball has been moving end to end. I think
just a little bit of rushed on the shot there, do you think?
I think
just
so.
Not settling.
Nice take in by the shooter.
So just 2.5 minutes left till half time. Malta have an opportunity to pull another one back.
Interesting to see.
Same thing for comment from you on that, Emma. Good distance, but put a hand on the ball.
On the ball, yeah, and it's the discipline when your shooter steps in, you don't want your defender to come back on them, but the shooter has the ball, so they're still protected by that. So we have to teach them to hold that space, but to be disciplined, not to cause the contact.
Great hands by Jacqueline Carter.
She's working hard in this half for her team.
So running into the last couple of minutes or so of this game, 22 against 11. Shana Forbes watching now, watched Super Netball this morning and Netball Europe Challenge this afternoon.
That's a good netball day now.
It is. And of course it is right that we're able to show netball at all levels for everybody.
Yeah, definitely. We have a great campaign in Ireland, Can't See, Can't Be. You know, we need our junior girls to see this, because actually looking at Super Netball might just be that bit too far off for them. But a game like this could be achievable. The more profile we can give to women in sport, the better.
Particularly as it's International Women's Day, it's even more relevant today than any other day.
Yeah.
So Isle of Man, just 40 seconds or so on the clock.
Again, their captain is really doing a lot of work. There's a lovely connection between their centre, Jacqueline Chata, and their goal attack, Cook. She finds her very nicely, and usually in a shooting position, which is great.
So nice. Good pressure there by Camelia, forcing the footwork. Good defence. Into the last few seconds now.
And I suppose at this stage, Malta were looking to inhibit an Isle of Man goal in those last 9 seconds, which they achieved.
So we go into half-time with Isle of Man leading this match against Malta 24-11. Interesting quarter, 10-5 to Isle of Man there, so still pretty low scoring. And as we were saying, Emma, I think if you looked at the opportunities, both teams creating those but just not getting the conversions.
Yeah, and I'm sure the coaches will definitely be talking at that. If we looked at the supply to the shooters, it was definitely there, or the supply into the shooting end may not have always made it under the post, but certainly the ball was worked through mid-court quite a lot. And as we talked about, that's a credit to your defensive unit, picking up the ball, forcing held ball, unforced errors, all of those things.
So teams have a bit of a break. We'll be bringing you some replays shortly to show you some of the quality points of the match, of which there was a lot to celebrate. And when both teams had that connection, they used the court, they didn't just throw ball away, created space, they found the pockets in the circle.
The flow was there. But again, and we talk about it all the time, it's the consistency of achieving that. To me, I'd like to see both teams having more options through the court. I don't think that was something we really, there was always, they had one option, and when that's not going to work, you need to have your backup.
So let's bring you some of those replays and we'll rejoin you shortly. So we've shown you some of passages of netball from the quarters there, and as we can see, Isle of Man 24, Malta on 11. Competition is really hotting up now. This third game of the day. We're going to see Gibraltar against Switzerland later on at 6:30. That's going to be a really interesting game too.
Definitely. I think Switzerland will be looking to capitalise after their win against us this morning.
You said that really quietly.
Yeah, of course.
Ireland.
What are you talking about? So I think they'll definitely be looking to finish today really strong. But I think Gibraltar will be coming out with a point to prove as well on the home, at a home stadium, and that carries so much. So I think that one's going to be really good to watch, and I'll be watching that with a lot of interest because we play Gibraltar in the last game on Sunday, so we'll be looking to see how they perform against Switzerland as a benchmark, given that we've also played them today. But I think for Switzerland, they've had a really tough start. They will have had a tough and physical start, I'd say, to the tournament for them.
So we look forward to seeing that this afternoon in our next game on live local time at 6:30. So when the two teams met in October last year, Switzerland versus Gibraltar, quite convincing win for Switzerland, 57-12. But from the game we saw this morning with Gibraltar, different squad this year, a little bit more experience from some of the younger players we saw last October, it could be a completely different game.
Yeah, and that's what I think at this under-17 level, as you say, as players move out of the age category, it opens up to new players coming through, but it changes the dynamic of the squad year on year. So while our scores from last season are a good benchmark of performance, I think that was evident from our game this morning, whereas the Ireland-Switzerland game in October was totally different. So it's just, you just don't know what you're going to get until the players take the court and show us what they've been working on all season.
So we will shortly be bringing you some substitutions. The teams are making some changes out there. So for Isle of Man, Neil's coming on at goal shooter. At wing attack, Leith is now going to be taken to the court. Shepherd moving out to goal defence, probably not surprising that one, Emma, and Turner on at goalkeeper, so running the changes.
Yeah, and I think bringing Shepherd out to goal defence is a great move. She's had a great first half in there. She's picked up a lot of defensive rebounds and intercepts, so to see what she can do through midcourt, and actually she may help carry the ball through midcourt for Isle of Man, and maybe that's what their coach is thinking. But at this stage for Isle of Man, I think it's opportunity to get more players on the court, capitalise on the lead, look at different combinations and how they're working. So I'm interested to see if Malta will make changes, perhaps needing to bring on second game, maybe a bit tired there in the last half of that, the latter part of that quarter. So it'd be interesting to see if they make changes to inject something into the game.
Well, I can tell you that they have made some changes. They've run the changes in their centre court, Malta. So Mikolev, who was centre, has now gone to wing attack and changed places with Gatey, who's at centre, and they've brought on Grimmer at wing defence. So going to be interesting to see how that beds down. The whole centre court changing. The connectivity, we were saying in the match before, was a little bit tricky for Malta.
Definitely, and then it's how they're going to carry that ball through to their shooters, and perhaps that's what they're thinking. Those changes in midcourt might just talk about being clinical, minding the ball. We need to get it all the way into the shooters for them to do their job.
So we take the opportunity to interview the winning captain after every game and then put it up on our Twitter feeds to Netball Europe. And of course that's an added pressure for players, but I know Kath Rich is watching back in Switzerland and was really impressed with their captain Ella Mayer when she gave her interview. And some of these young athletes are just such fantastic young women and just inspiring for those out there watching the sport.
We've been talking about all weekend about what netball gives you. You know, it's friendships, it's camaraderie, it's learning to stand up, learning to be a leader. And if you're learning that at an under-17 level, that's going to stand to you for a long time. Good feed in already from our new mid-court unit.
So early opportunity for Malta. Shepherd in the rotating goal defence position there now. She's had a great game so far.
I really think she has. She's come away with a lot of ball in the defensive end.
So another turnover by Malta. So that new centre court combination not taking very long to bed down. Could be one that Malta are familiar
have tried
with.
Out, yeah. And often that's a challenge for a coach, as in if you've got three strong mid-quarters, who's going to play centre, wing attack, wing defence, and if they each offer you options in that, it depends what the game brings and then how you react. We made centre court changes in our game, and it changed the whole profile of our second half of our game. So it's the coaches knowing who's on the bench, what they offer, what they bring, what they give.
So Isle of Man scoring to take their total to 25, 12 for Malta. That defensive unit in there. Turner now in at goalkeeper for Isle of Man. You can see that Isle of Man are perhaps more consistently offering those two options on the transition down the court.
Yeah, and they've got support as well behind if they need to look and reset. It's there and it's waiting. They just, because of the flow that they're in at this stage, they don't need to look to those back options. Good pressure there on the centre pass.
Need to find their rhythm now, Malta. They use a lot of those bounce passes which don't quite go as quick and as effectively in that position. There's no space on the back line.
For it to go. And really you need your shooter to be holding space for you to bounce it into or to roll it into, and in that, maybe that wasn't the best option in that. Play on. Whistle hasn't gone.
Yeah. I think all the players thought it had.
Always play the whistle.
Yeah.
You could hear the screams from the bench. The bench wanted them to keep going.
Unlucky.
Unlucky from Keelia.
So replaying the ball. Just need a bit of tidying up. Oh. You feel for them, don't you? They really are. I think they must be used to a style of play, and of course, as all the teams find, when they come somewhere like this, these young players won't have played against different styles, taller players.
It's tougher defence. But it's the measure of the team then, of how you react and adapt to that. You can't keep doing the same thing when the outcome isn't happening for you. So they need to dig deep and think, what else have we got here? What else can we do and can we give? And again, Isle of Man rewarded with the turnover.
So Cook there for the Isle of Man, 27-12, so 15 goal gap now. Still fairly low scoring. Having a go, good rebound.
Nice from Keelia. I think she's played well for Malta.
Lovely weighted pass. Unfortunately, didn't quite fall for Neil in there.
Lovely to see the attacking unit really defending that backline pass. I think Malta need to find some space on the court. It seems quite crowded, so we talk about, you're saying they've got a lot of aerial ball, but they need to put it over so many defenders because they're not using the space on the court to their advantage.
And another one. So Isle of Man won the ball back again. Lovely vision into Cook. 28 plays 12. Just under 10 minutes now remaining in this third quarter.
Neil, their shooter's playing quite a holding shooter. She's holding that. She's looking at what's in front of her and picking her front or back space and then just popping out with an offer. Lucky with the accuracy.
And again, the environment might be very different in terms of these sunken posts because they are quite unforgiving for shooters. You really have to be accurate on them. Oh, well read by Shepherd.
Well read. And a clean take as well.
She anticipated the goal attack rolling there and
she
cut out that.
She did, and didn't overcommit. She knew it was coming. Nice idea from the captain to Cook, and they've had a nice connection all game. That was an unlucky one, but she's defend. You can see her covering that space well to push for the intercept, and she wins it.
So again, the defensive ability of the attack for Isle of Man proving really effective.
Yeah, but you can see them straight away as soon as the goalkeeper goes off to get the ball off the back line, they're setting up in good spaces, looking to dictate where the ball is going.
It's interesting when you see shooters do the out and in and you think, well, you didn't actually gain any space there.
Yeah.
You kind of think,
Did you gain space or confidence?
well, it could be a little bit of both, couldn't it?
Yeah.
Just
sometimes
doesn't feel
it's
quite
just like,
settled.
am I set? No. Another clean take from the Isle of Man defence.
Yeah, Turner and Shepherd have proved, again, effective. Different combination this quarter.
But I think for Isle of Man, they're going to have some tough games over the next 2 days. So looking at combinations in this game is smart to see what's working, who's flowing, where the connections are happening. Turner not getting a touch to that. Oh, she did get a touch to that, sorry.
It's interesting to see some of these young players with their taping as well. So they're 15, 16 years of age, still developing.
Yeah.
Tape there to protect that, or perhaps to deal with injuries, you think, or combination?
Combination, and I think you touched on it earlier. You talked about Netball England and the difference in the champion and the challenge section. Looking at S&C programs being in place from a young age for these athletes is the right thing to do. But if the finance and expertise and all the rest isn't there, often they don't get that, and I think that can lead to injuries or the need for this, because the game is so much more fast and physical. Good take by Neil then.
So 31 now plays 13. So again, relatively slow scoring. 2 for Malta so far, 7 now for Isle of Man. And of course, it's not only about the accessibility of things like S&C, it's the funding for the sport and the fact that all of you at the challenge level don't have any fully paid members of staff. No. Every single person who's involved in delivering netball is a volunteer.
Yeah.
The girls fund all their own travel.
Yeah, everything. We've had a fundraising campaign to get our guys here this season. It's the support of parents. And also these are young, they're in school, so without, where do they find those S&C opportunities? The time to do that without a a whole pathway and program in place to support that.
So Killia had a shot at goal, wasn't afraid to put it up. It hasn't fallen for them. I've talked to some of the parents here this weekend, and I think for some, whilst they understood what international netball meant, they didn't really quite anticipate the extent of it, the pressure on the young people. And actually, as parents or the community behind the players, there's a huge amount they have to do to support these young athletes, and they have to change their whole lifestyle as well to understand it.
And because I would talk about nutrition and hydration a lot in our squad, but that's not on the players. For our open squad, they decide what to eat and when to eat and all of that. Whereas for our young players, it's parents providing meals and having that knowledge of protein sources and energy sources and all of those things that go with it. But I have to say, I think from my experience, when parents come to a Netball Europe Under-17 event, they're always been struck with the level of competition and the organisation that Netball Europe put into it. It is a proper international platform for these girls to perform on, and you don't get that anywhere else, which is fantastic.
There's a huge amount that goes in from the Netball Europe volunteers as well to make this happen. Yeah. And of course lots of support from member countries. It really is a collaborative team off the court. Competitive on, collaborative off.
Yeah.
So 35 plays at 14. 3 minutes now left in this quarter.
You're really looking for Malta now to stay within half point score difference, so they can get some points on the board, on the scoreboard, which will give them something to aim for and to strive to achieve in this game.
So Cook continuing to have a good game there, goal attack.
Yeah.
Looking at the options, finds Jacqueline Charter on top.
Oh, kept in by Neil, that's good.
Oh, unlucky.
Leith couldn't do the same.
So the bench there, Isle of Man are holding up. 3 minutes to go, 2.5 by our accounts. It's interesting, the last game when we were watching yourselves playing against Switzerland, we didn't notice either bench putting up the scores quite
A bit more, they just like to stay in the game, so that's something we just talked about and decided.
So it's a conscious coaching decision.
Yeah,
interesting.
Yeah, I think they're well aware without us putting that extra pressure on it. And also in this facility we're lucky to have, which works for all teams.
So we've got 2 clocks either end, really clear.
Yeah.
In this great facility, the Centenary venue down here in Gibraltar.
Unlucky from De Bono not to land that one. I think Malta could have really done with something going their way. Lovely feed from the captain again, finding Neil under the post. She had a great hold and she just placed it the right side of her away from the defender.
38-14. Breaking call. Those are the ones that the coaches are going to want the players to be a little bit more disciplined about, not give away turnovers.
And it's the end of quarter 3. Players are getting tired. This is when your unforced errors creep in. But if you want to be successful, we have to work on those and move those out of our game. Nice from Cook.
Nice. Cook finding Leith there. Lovely ball into Neil.
And again, she's holding her space really well. If she's front holding, she's got a lovely body angle to do it. And on the back hold as well, the girls are able to find her in there behind the defender.
So just over 30 seconds to go. So an opportunity for another goal for Isle of Man. And they get down the court. Oh, well played.
Good take.
Unfortunate.
And again, we're talking about it all this game. The aerial ball is in the air long enough for a defender to pick it out, and we saw 2 examples of that.
So a lovely feed finding the space, reverse behind Neil. High levels of skill needed to place the ball to get the player to turn onto it in the right shooting position.
We're looking to get one more before the whistle.
Well done, defenders. So we head into 3/4 time with the Isle of Man on 40 and Malta playing on 14. I was just looking at the score there. So only 3 goals that quarter by Malta. They'll be really disappointed because the opportunities were there. They turned over ball. They gained possession.
Yeah, they did, and it didn't feel like the game was running away from them that much. As a neutral spectator, you feel that they are in it, but the score just isn't reflecting that.
So you look at the quarter scores for this game: 14-6, 10-5. So there was a really strong defensive pressure by Malta. And then 16-3. So those changes that Isle of Man have made have been really effective, and perhaps the centre court in Malta's case proved effective. We could see they're getting the opportunities, but De Bono and Hillier in there just weren't kind of sinking the balls at the end of the process.
Yeah, and we also have Shepherd and Turner, which was a new defensive unit for Isle of Man, and I think they just really put extra pressure on those shots. Turner's quite a tall goalkeeper, so she's got a good hold, and that just can knock the shooter's confidence, and with that, accuracy can go down because the supply down to them has been great.
So we've seen today Malta playing twice, Switzerland playing twice, and Gibraltar playing twice. I think it's the turn of Ireland and Isle of Man tomorrow.
Yeah, we have 2 games tomorrow. But the day is well spaced out for the tournament, which really helps the athletes, I think, be able to give their best over 2 games. I know last year when we also had Emirates, it was 5 games over 3 days, and I think every team found that really tough. So with the new structure, I think it's working better to have 4 games over 3 days is achievable.
So we'll see who the 2 teams are going to bring out for this last 15 minutes. 3rd game already this weekend. After this match, 7 more to go before we find out on Sunday who will emerge as the winner of the challenge section here at the Netball Europe Under-17 event.
Yeah. And then that then determines who moves up to the championship event. So the new structure is brilliant because it just adds a level of competition that we didn't have before, which is fantastic.
And I think we've said at this level as well, Emma, it works really well because the feed through for all the teams almost through the championship and challenge is that they're bringing through new players
all the
it's
time.
Not necessarily settled. You could probably argue that for most of the international sides, you know who's going to be in their open sides more or less, as you can see. And the other thing we've observed is that you now see some players, you know, in particular who are going off to the Netball World Cup with England, Scotland and Northern Ireland. So many of those players have come through and played at under-17 level here at Netball Europe. We're really proud of that.
Yeah, of course. And again, it just goes to show, you know, the longevity of the game, that you can play from 17s up to opens and still be involved at that level. It's brilliant. But then you have those connections. You know, you're playing with these girls a long time, and that serves you then in your open squad.
So probably not surprising, we're being informed that Malta have made a number of substitutions, probably going to try some new combinations out there. They may feel that perhaps this game isn't within their reach, but they want to prepare for the ones over the weekend.
Yeah.
So they brought on Baldacchino at goal shooter, Gatey now wing attack, Gordis on at centre, and Gouda in at wing defence. Only one change for the Isle of Man sees Burgess coming on at wing defence.
Yeah, I'm not surprised to see changes in the Malta side at this stage.
So again, Jacqueline Charter's been really effective, turned over the ball there on Malta centre pass, her long arms, but it's also her kind of distance and her speed of reaction to where the ball is going.
Yeah, she's dictating where she's aware of where the players wanting to send the ball, and she's setting herself up in the right position to be able to pick that up, even on her second stage defence. It's great to be doing that at under 17 level.
So Isle of Man take the first goal this quarter, 41-14. If you're enjoying the game, tell us what you like or who you think is standing out between these 2 teams, Isle of Man and Malta. Hashtag NE Under-17 Challenge. And we would love to hear from you. So Baldacchino now on at goal shooter for Malta.
Nice idea there. She had the space, it just needed more of a pinpoint precision pass for that to be executed into Keelia. Isle of Man moving the ball really smoothly through the mid-course there.
Oh, good defence though by Camelia against Neil. Read the ball well. Better hold there by Neil.
And she's doing that well in the third quarter. She just needs to find the space, and then it seems like her centre and wing attack will pick her out. Just to find the space cleanly.
So in defence, Gouda there for Malta, just on the court. Gould is now at centre. Gatey moves back to wing attack. Shepherd in there again, disrupting the Malta attack. Waldekina she's playing quite deep now.
She is. But I'm glad to see her making offers. It's something we've said all through the game for Malta. They need someone to be driving out onto the ball. And she's willing to do that, to give the feeder options. We just need Malta, the rest of the team, to do that, to allow her then to get back into a shooting position. Lovely shot by Neil. No pressure, took her time.
43 plays to 14. 3 minutes gone. Malta haven't yet got on the scoreboard this quarter. I think we've seen that quite consistently. One of the things coaches may take away from this game is how do they get that ball and that early shot, which would just lift the Maltese side a little bit more.
A little bit, yeah.
You sense they're maybe feeling a little bit tired. They had a game first thing this morning, 9:30 here, local time.
Yeah, that's tough. That's a long day. And you'll be looking at what they'll do today to rest and recover, so that, because they've got 2 games again tomorrow for Malta, so they're going to need a lot of rest and recovery time. That was so well read by Jacqueline Chatta there. She picked up that intercept at the top of the circle so well, and again her connection with Cook paying off.
44-14. What do you do as a coach with Ireland to help them recover? What's your advice to them? What's your routines? Probably similar approaches to other coaches, maybe?
Yeah, I think so. I think it depends on how many games we've had. So today we needed to have our ice baths, have our showers, get nourished and hydrated, and then it's time off your feet. You know, the girls are saying, oh, we're not tired, but it's not about that. It's about your circulation and all of that. And I'm thinking, you're not tired
they
today.
want to go up the rock and go
totally.
shopping.
Yeah. We did allow time for that, because this isn't just about netball. It's about 12 girls coming away together, and they're creating friendships and bonds. And an unlucky miss there from Shepherd. We talked about keeping your eye on the ball, but actually Isle of Man still come away with it. But yeah, we said feed up, you know, especially tomorrow when we've got 2 games. Well rested, sleep, food. They talk about the 1%, you know, it's all of those things. I don't know if we're at 1% yet, but we'll add in any percent we can.
It is a real learning experience for the players coming away and playing international netball for the first time.
Yeah.
There's so many aspects of the game that I know Netball Europe tried to replicate here, so it becomes a consistent experience as they move up the age groups.
Yeah.
And it doesn't come as a surprise when they get to open and they're presented with ice baths and things like that.
Yeah.
I sometimes actually think that one of the best things all the teams could do is get the parents to go and have an ice bath and just experience what it means.
Yeah.
Great confidence there by Kilia.
Yeah.
Prepared to put the shot up, but Waldekina is still offering an option in there. So 45 now plays 16.
It's just the speed of Isle of Man versus Malta. Their turnover, they bring the ball through court so quickly. It's so much more fluid. You'd love to see Malta have offers ball-side and be able to release that ball quicker, because actually when they do bring it down, they can convert some lovely turnovers or their own centre passes.
Yeah, footwork there. Exactly. Yeah. It was interesting because I've been watching the eyes of the Malta players, and when they look, they're looking for that one option, and they're not scanning, and their peripheral vision is a little bit sort of narrow at this moment in time. And perhaps that's not surprising at this level when they're just coming into international competition.
Yeah.
But again, how do you as a coach teach peripheral vision? Is it something you can teach? Do players have it instinctively?
I mean, there's hundreds of drills you can do to do it, but it's whether a player does it under pressure or not. But a large part of it is communication. Like, we're teaching our players who are in that wide angle to call for the ball then on second, you know, on your second. Nice shot from Baldacchino.
It was. So Malta 17 against Isle of Man's 46. Netball Ireland are enjoying your commentary, Emma. I don't think I could say anything else, could they, really?
Surprise. Hi, guys.
You're a natural.
The Irish gift to the gab, is that it? I've kissed the Blarney Stone. That apparently.
Well, I have, but it hasn't made any difference for me. So Shepherd out of this game.
Nice
Lovely.
confidence from Kelia to take that step forward and to put it up. She's had a tough game in there, you know, against some strong opposition, but it's not knocked her. She's still willing to step up and take her shot.
Yeah, played the whole game now at goal attack, hasn't been moved around. Started at goal shooter, interestingly, in their first game, and then finished at goal attack. And obviously the Maltese coaches have decided that she's playing really well, and she is. She's a bit of a game maker out there.
Yeah, she is an option on a lot of passes, which is what you want. I think it's easier for a goal attack to take more passes outside the circle, and if that's what Malta needs to move the ball through, then she's the player to do that for them. Again, the centre goal attack combination there paying off.
It's good pressure in there by
Yeah.
Camelia, just making the Isle of Man attack there, all hesitate, they weren't sure where Turner's space was.
Yeah.
So Cook took the responsibility, drove the front and scored a goal.
Yeah.
So 48 plays 18. Lovely.
Nice take.
Long ball.
And again, exactly as you said, looking to one space.
One space, one option.
Yeah.
And actually there was another
A wide
option,
option
but she
early.
wasn't really
Yeah.
looking for that opportunity. Lovely by Cook.
Yeah. She's had a great game, Cook. She's been very consistent over the 4 quarters. Feeders have been able to find her, and the shooting accuracy has been very good.
And for some of us oldies, she's only 15.
Lovely. They play with more maturity than that, don't they? I don't know. When I was 15, was I playing like this? I'm
think
sure
the
I'll have some
game's
coaches
moved on.
telling me that I wasn't.
I'm sure. The game has developed, and all the understanding
Hugely.
that we have in sport generally. Obviously, we're playing netball here, but these young people are actually real athletes. And I
Definitely.
think we should celebrate the fact that they're athletes.
Yeah. And I think they need to start seeing themselves as athletes. You know, you're here to perform as athletes,
Absolutely.
especially at this level. When they start believing that, then they start training that way, thinking that way.
Oh, unfortunately,
Unlucky
she's going to
from-
be called for footwork there. So Isle of Man hit their half-century, 50 against 18. Just under 5 minutes now left here in the Centenary Centre in Gibraltar. Shepherd's going to be all over that like a rash.
Yeah, we saw that. Actually, just contacting, she needed to go up cleaner. She moved forward and brought her contact then, but took that one cleanly. We talked to our defenders about backing up and doing that cleanly and going straight up and being disciplined to do that in training, so that when there is a player on you hustling for that ball, you still get that take and come out with it.
And sometimes it's about that one extra step to go up,
Yeah,
rather
as
than
a-
trying to do
to
it from. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's easy when you're sitting here doing
Oh,
the
listen,
commentating, isn't
listen.
it?
Why didn't you move your feet under that ball?
And there we are, Cook again.
Yeah.
So whilst we don't have a say in the player of the tournament, it's voted on by the coach of one team and who picks who they feel is the best player in the opposition. Are there any of the players in either side who you've observed today think should be in with the running?
I think we've mentioned Cook quite a number of times. I think she's had a great game. I would be surprised if the opposition coaches weren't mentioning her as well. She's been positioning wise excellent, always an option in the circle. Also their captain Jacqueline Chatta she's had a great defensive game as a centre, and has really supported the whole team. But I think Cook was the standout for me now in the Isle of Man.
And for Malta?
I think it would have to be their goal attack as well. Kelia, I think she's been a real fighter through the whole game in what's been a tough game for Malta. But actually, she's really showed confidence and composure. And as a goal attack, that's what you want, especially under against tough opposition. She's really fighting for the ball. So it's a game with goal attacks for me.
I would say it's a goal attack, isn't it always? But
No,
I'll get
it's
shot
always
by
the centres
so
game. What are you
many
talking about?
people.
Always the centres game.
So 53 against 19, just 2.5 minutes to go. These players have put everything into this game. Emma left their hearts on the court.
Yeah, for sure. You can see Keely again there dictating the play a bit, which is great. Yeah, and that's all you can ask of them. You just want them to come off proud and know that they've done their best. If the better team wins on the day, but you've given it your all and you can learn something and grow from it, that's what you want at this level. Lovely feeds to Neil under the post there. She's had a great hold for that. I'm sure Malta are hoping to get to 20 before the final whistle.
So if the score stays like this, we'll be chatting to Olivia Jacqueline Chatter at the end of the game as co-captain. Interestingly, Jemima Shepherd, who is another player we've talked about, is their co-captain too. So interesting if they bring them both over to have a chat with us.
Yeah.
2 for the price of 1.
Yeah. And you can really see those two players on court being leaders out there. I'm not surprised that she's co-captain. They're both stepping up and dictating the play and supporting the whole the units.
So lovely weighted ball into Cook. Oof, that's an uncharacteristic miss.
Yeah,
Neil really good rebounding position.
Yeah.
The score went to 545 there to 19. I think that might just be a typo.
It wasn't that good of a game. Oh, unlucky.
Turner read that superbly.
Yeah. And actually, you'd love to see Borden, just make a move, draw that keeper out, and then drive back under the post.
So 56 against 19, literally down to the last few seconds. Are we going to get another score here by Isle of Man? Nice weighted ball into Cook, driving the baseline. Ooh, we both felt that. Muscat,
she's up.
Is up. Well done. Is she all right? I think
she is. She didn't call time.
She's probably where, bless her.
I'm sure their primary carer will look after her now.
So the end of a third game here in Gibraltar. Isle of Man take this game 56 against a really hard-fought competitive game with Malta. Interestingly, last time they played here last October, 48-19. So Malta scored exactly the same, and Isle of Man pushed ahead a little bit more. So good game overall. Thoughts of the match?
Definitely, and that was probably down to that Jacqueline Chatta and Cook combination. It really gave the supply of goals to the Isle of Man. But yeah, I'm sure Isle of Man will be happy with that. They got a lot of players in the court. First match under their belt, and it's a win. You can't ask for and a convincing win, so you can't really ask for much more than that.
So we will see how these two teams fare with their recovery overnight. Don't forget to be back here at 6:30 local time to see host Gibraltar take on Switzerland, a game we're really looking forward to. Emma, thank you very much for being with us.
Thanks for having
me. Delight. Wish you and Ireland the very best of luck in the rest of the tournament. And for the rest of this game, just like to give our special thanks to Netball Europe, Inspire Sport, Gibraltar Netball Association, QTV Sports and Gib Media, all the volunteers here who have made this weekend possible. The event literally wouldn't have happened without you. And of course, all of you who are tuning in on a Friday evening to watch. We're back shortly. Don't go far. Join us live again here in Gibraltar.